Is Ibrahim Troare fighting for all Africans, me included, you included?
What this guy is doing is no different from what Patrice Lumumba did in terms of nationalizing of minerals.
Malema is the most dangerous leader to South Africa and to the whole of Africa, if we may say. Malema is a Western agent. He works for the Mzungu people. He's really instilled there to destabilize and do the job of the devil. Malema is a white man in a black skin. Personally, I've always had a problem with all the top four political parties, meaning ANC, DA, MK, EFF, your party out. And Malema is the most dangerous leader to South Africa and to the whole of Africa, if we may say. Malema is a Western agent. He works for the Mzungu people. He's really instilled there to destabilize and do the job of the devil. So I really recommend that people take EFF out. Don't even give them 1% vote this time. Please, I pray those people, that lunatic called Malema, I hope he just get kicked out of our politics. If possible, just ship him out of our country or out of the continent. Put him on Mars. The next trip with Elon Musk going to Mars, put Malema there and we must just ship him to that godforsaken place called Mars. But anyway, the top four political parties out. No ANC, no DA, no MK, no EFF out. Now, I even question the so-called patriotic parties sometimes, but I mean, at the end of the day, we have to vote for someone.
Let me disturb. You can take out ANC, you can take out EFF, you can take out MK, but how do you take out DA? Because when we are busy voting for all these parties, DA stands where it is. Let's say now it is at 20%. Next election is 25% because some blacks will also vote for DA. So don't you think DA is the next winning party? So continue, brother man.
Yeah, so I hate DA the most. And I think I blame the current political leaders, whether you're looking at ANC, MK, and EFF. They bear responsibility. Black people in this country bear a certain amount of responsibility. Now, remember, I always say DA is the one that is leading this country. They're the most powerful organization as far as economy and the means of production are of concern. They are embedded in that aspect of South Africa, the aspect of production and economy. Then that one makes them powerful. They are in the same group with the Mzungu elite who runs the business of the day here. Now, ANC still have power. I'm not saying black people don't have power, in particular the black political parties, but they have political power. How far can you go with political power? You can go far, but it's going to take long. That's why now we're joining BRICS and trying to diversify and blah, blah, blah. Is to shift the control. But at the end of the day, DA still yield the most power. So they do that by the fact that they can campaign easily. They control the narrative through the media. They remember, we also have got that history of the so-called Stockholm syndrome. People who still think white is right? Some people do have this embedded inside their conscience that if DA takes power, things will be better in South Africa. They believe that because DA is a white party, nothing else. But DA will be a total collapse for South Africa more than anything you can think of. Remember, DA applaud apartheid and they actually want to bring the whole world South Africa to replace our DNA and overwrite the sovereignty of South Africa so that South Africa becomes a no man's land. And EFF is also working towards that. But this is why I say EFF is the most dangerous one. EFF is doing the same thing, but the danger of EFF is the fact that they are black. So many black people cannot even see this because they push the rhetoric of Pan-African project, which is just a rhetoric. It's not actually a physical project that is taking place. It's a rhetoric that is working toward capitalism for cheap labor and protecting the interest of the Western Empire by replacing the DNA of black South Africans who have got the right and entitlement to fight for this soil, for this land. So DA and EFF are the worst things that can happen there. Now, ANC and MK are not better at all. They are also part of that. But just that with ANC and MK, you don't get the sense of they hold themselves back. They're not really radical as they want to replace South Africa all over overnight. But we don't need them. We want them out. They are the same. Now, we can look at Operation Dudula, Action SA, ATM, and a bit of PA. Those are the parties that I think maybe they do speak about patriotism, but I don't trust them as well, because the problem, Hosea, is not really the political parties. The problem is the system that is built in this country and the continent that is facilitating and bringing out this outcome. So the system that is designed here will always produce this kind of sellout. So we need to also think about how can we deal with the system. I always believe that BRICS is part of that puzzle that might yield a better power, that one day we might override the current political the political landscape that we have in South Africa by overwriting the system. So if you look at even the patriotic parties, once they get into parliament, they change their tune or they slow down. Why? Because they get sucked into that system that is designed to produce this kind of results we have in this country. So I bet myself on looking at patriotic parties, but we mustn't put our hopes high. They might do little changes, but I don't think they will give us what we want entirely, but we all have to start somewhere. We start somewhere by removing all the top 4 political parties and look at patriotic parties like Action SA. At least they're doing something. You can look at Pretoria, you can look at other places where Herman Mashaba was running and facilitating. It wasn't worse. And they speak about deportation of influx of illegal aliens. Same way with Operation Dudula and so forth. But that's my answer, Hosea. I hope I gave you the right answer.
Yeah, you did. So you suggested 3 political parties for people. Don't you think also we are going to give DA power? That's my question. That was my question. Because the more we are giving people these smaller parties and independent candidates, so we are adding already to the number of political parties that we have. Don't you think DA will be the leading political party eventually? That's my question again.
Yeah, they will never have majority, but at the end of the day, reality is there's a high chance that they might be even over ANC. And that's the problem that was created by black people in this country, in particular the black leaders. Then what do we suggest for people? They can't vote for the top 4. If people are still stupid enough to give a DA any vote, it's a problem. Now, we know that the vote for DA comes from particular groups. And then we still have got black people who are stupid enough to vote for DA. We cannot continue to vote for ANC, EFF, and MK because we're scared of DA. We have to try something. And sometimes it means even if DA might be the majority, we cannot afford to vote for ANC, MK, EFF, hoping that DA won't take power. At the end of the day, DA votes are secured because DA has been smart enough to make sure that they appeal to the group of people who give them the vote. That's the Indians, the Coloureds, and the Mzungus. Now, black people in this country are stupid enough to ignore the grievance of the people who put them there in power, which is black South Africans. Now, if black South Africans are ignored by their own people, what should they do, Hosea? They're really running out of options. The influx of illegal migrants in this country is not affecting anyone but black people. It's actually benefiting the other group because they are in the means of production. So they get cheap labor and not even be responsible for it. It's a free market for all. So what can black South Africans do? Continue to vote for EFF, MK, and ANC? It's a big no. Not DA, they're not voting for it. The problem with black South Africans is the percentage that doesn't vote at all. Now, if we can get the people who don't vote to vote and vote for patriotic parties, we will be secure. But patriotic parties and patriotic people in this country are not given space in the media. They're not allowed to raise any concern or push their agenda in terms of radicalizing South Africans. It's only the so-called Pan-African Kumbaya, which they're working for capitalism, that you see them frequenting in the media as well. So this is affecting our voters' choice. Hence, Hosea, I'm going to ask you, brother, if you love this country, I'm going to give you a task from today. Stop pandering to Pan-African nonsense. It's not going to happen. Now, you need to become a patriot yourself. You need to use your platform for the good of South Africans if you love your people. Turn the people you have here to be radicalized and see EFF, MK, and DA and ANC for who they are. So that with your work, we can get the people who don't vote and migrate them to the patriotic parties. Maybe we stand a chance there. Or else, if you don't do that, Hosea, good luck. Tomorrow you might be walking on the street and a Zimbabwean might put spikes on your car or even unalive you. Who knows? But make the right decision today, brother. The power is in your hand. You control a lot of, your platform is big enough. Continue to do the work I've been doing. Radicalize South Africans. Teach South Africans to love their country. Our only hope is our country. These stupid nonsense stories of Pan-African or globalization. It's only going to serve the capitalist who wants free, cheap labor. This is the reason why your leader Malema lives in Hyde Park. He's not living in Alexandra or Soweto. He wants nothing to do with poor black South Africans. He wears all the Western labels, drives Western cars. His kids are surrounded by Western people. Malema is a white man in a black skin, and then he's going to exploit all of you. So do the right thing from today, Hosea. I'm only asking you to be the man that you are. Rise up and save the people of South Africa. Black South Africans need you, Hosea. Start using your platform for good things.
I beg to withdraw.
Yeah, but Maketla, they were speaking to me there, but I'll not respond right now. When I'll consult my team. I'll consult my team. But Maketla,
Yes.
let me tula here.
Let's say something. Wow. No. Mabaso, my brother, we are not stupid in South Africa. Please, I request that from you. We are not stupid. Disrespecting the elder, it's the norm in these days in this country. We no longer take it seriously. When the young ones are very infuriated about the situation in the country, we don't take it as disrespect. They are voicing their opinion. We voted for that. We gave them that right. So go ahead and hate and disrespect if as much as you want. But once you say South Africans are stupid, I'm telling you, the youngsters are guiding for you. They will be able to tackle you on that narrative of South Africans, especially blacks, are stupid. I don't think you're talking to me, you're talking to all of us, and I'm not going to respond to that.
Malema said Western dead and they vote for him,
You're angry. I mean, if you talk of the people that vote, the ANC, DA, Malema, they make up about 60% of the people voting in South Africa. Those that didn't vote, they have reasons for not voting. We understand that, why they didn't vote. At some stage, I didn't want to vote. A bit of myself. I am one of the people in this country who started the tender nonsense. And I call it tender nonsense. It's not a slip of a tongue. Me, Joe Slovo, Togo Didiza were the people behind the RDP houses. We started the RDP house, real RDP houses. As it is, and they saw it and find that no, these guys are going to try and put the African people in a different pedestal than what we want. Then they came in. Let me say this, and I'm saying this without fear or favor. I am not trying to vilify anybody. I am not a custodian of intellectual know-how of politics, especially in South Africa. One, these so-called leaders of ours, where they came from, including Mandela from prison, money was not the issue. They started getting money in 1994 after the inauguration of Mandela. He slept before he had already left Soweto and staying in Houghton and building, though he was already a millionaire. If you know the history of the country, these guys became millionaires starting then. That was money flowing instead of anything else. At some stage, some of my friends who were ambassadors in Ghana who were saying, we don't think Utata is going to finish his term because he is actually amazed and appalled at how these people are doing his internals, including Gosri Ramaphosa, who were around him. It was all about money. At some stage, you did mention that Mandela could be one of the people that you can compare with the Thomas Sankara, Muammar Gaddafi, and whatever. I say no, it's not. It is not. And because he was easily swayed with money. And swaying politicians with money, you have already won half the battle about the people that they are leading. Then it went on again. The so-called Mzungus that we don't want, all right? They did not go away. When we got the right to vote, they did not disappear. I just want to be as basic as possible so that everybody should hear. They did not go away. They sat on the sideline. They were looking what was happening, and they found the loophole. And they found it. They then inculcated this narrative that everything that apartheid built was not good. Let us build our own, which was a very lucrative idea, very wonderful one. Did they? Including education system, did they? Including the infrastructure, did they? No, they didn't. Monies was spent. This country had a lot of money. That is why when the concept of RDP House was started, it was because there was money. Today we want to blame foreign nationals. Yes, sometimes we have to, but I blame them a lot, including the very same Zungu, because they took advantage of our ineptitude. We were so blind and we did not realize that the good that we are trying to do to bring in people who came in with the story that we were supporting you, we didn't look further than that. But fortunately for me, now, in my personal capacity, I had a younger brother who was on Robben Island. He's a deputy director in the Department of Tourism. And we were so excited when he came back before the whole crew came in, I would say about 8 years before. And then he came back and then we asked him, where's Mandela? That was the question that I said. Let me quickly. I'll be quick.
Okay.
I'll be
Ngicela
quick.
ukudisturba kancane.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to be quick and show exactly what happened with the issue of Mandela.
All right.
We were told by him that Mandela is not on Robben Island. You know what? We nearly killed him, me and my friends and others. We nearly killed him because we couldn't mention the name Mandela all along. And you say he's not on Robben. He says, no, he's not there. He says in his 10 years that he spent on Robben Island, he saw him once. Now, if you fast forward and look at what has happened, where was he? And it is coming in snippets now that Mandela didn't spend the whole year, 27 years on Robben Island. Sobukwe was the longest serving prisoner. That in itself, it is just how it was twisted. Coming back to what the Rasta want us to do, the Mzungu is having power in the country. The Mzungu is having everything. We will do whatever we do and say this political party is wrong, that one. That is exactly what we want. That is why when Rasta asked me, he said, who should I vote for? I said, no, I'm not going to approach it that way. I'm going to say to the people, because he was not asking for a reply, he was asking for an answer. I said, I'm not answering you, I'm going to give a reply. My reply is, we need to start afresh. And this that I'm saying, I know a lot of agents and advocates will walk away from it. We must eventually let Africa fight it for themselves. Let's forget about Troare. Troare is fighting his own battle. Let us fight our own battle. Let us make sure that this country becomes totally ungovernable under this new order and make sure that when we get it right, next time we'll get it right the correct way. That we're going to try and give history of what has happened, it will not help us. Because I've been there, my brother. It doesn't work. When you get inside the parliament or the union building or wherever, whatever chamber, everything changes. Immediately after elections, they take you in there, they tell you whatever you told people, that's nonsense. Here, this
But
is how
Makehla, ngicela ukubuza one question before I go to Siyabong. The topic here, it started as, is Ibrahim Troare fighting for all Africans, me included, you included? Or is Ibrahim Traore fighting for Beginabe people? And when Begina Faso wins, are we going to run to Begina Faso to sell powder there? Siyabonga, I'll give you just now. Your mic was not open. I will give you just after Nietzsche. So Nietzsche, are we going to run to Burkina Faso to sell powder there, to open prostitution places? Are we going to analyze them? Are we going to take their jobs? If Burkinabe people, they are saying we don't work for $1 or for $2, or we only work for $10, and we say no, we can work for $1. Are we right to the people of Burkina Faso? And when they say, no, we fought for Burkina Faso alone, we don't want you, are they xenophobic? Are we right to label the people of Burkina Faso xenophobic for them saying, we fought for this country alone? And as a South African or as a Zimbabwean, I say, but I helped you. Am I right or am I wrong? What is your take? Let me close my mic. Go for it.
Thank you. Well, I haven't seen anywhere where this guy Traore said that he's fighting for all of Africa. The guy is fighting for himself. Even if in his speeches, you'd hear him talking about having national pride. I mean, there was this one specific speech. He was, I think he was attending to his soldiers, where he was even talking about the mere fact that you must have national pride, that you must protect your land. He didn't say we must protect Africa. Africa is a continent with over 54 countries. This guy is fighting for his own people. Very much, you can see it. Problem that I do have though is these Africans who think that he's fighting for Africa. Africa is losers. When you're a loser, you start to develop a messiah mentality because you yourself have failed. So you must obviously have something you believe in. You must have Messiah to say that this guy is going to be our hero. That's how pathetic Africans are. It's quite sad, honestly. And we've seen this thing happen multiple times, with these Africans. There's this narrative that's going on to say that we must just nationalize, the same policies that this guy's talking about, nationalizing of our minerals and warawara. That thing has already happened. We've seen it happen in Africa, even going as far as this so-called socialistic methodology. It's been implemented. You look at countries like Congo. Congo is a socialistic country, right? And there's many more countries in Africa that has nationalized their minerals. Congo is one of them. Tanzania is one of them, right? I think Zambia is one of them also. Zambia has nationalized its minerals. What this guy is doing is no different from what Patrice Lumumba did in terms of nationalizing of minerals. You have, is it John Magufuli or something like that of Tanzania? All of these, presidents, they did this thing way back in the 80s and the 90s. They did it. The so-called socialistic methodology, they've done it. They've implemented it. Today, their countries are still shitholes. Because the truth of the matter is that no matter what system you put in place, right, if your own leaders, right, are not for you, whether it be socialist, whether it be democratic, it really doesn't matter. You're still going to suffer. And I think Africans are failing to understand that they're the ones who need to liberate themselves by removing the leaders in their own countries. It's so flipping sad to see a grown man, Mkulu somewhere coming here on social media saying, yeah, Ibrahim Traore is my president. Forgetting that back at home, they have to count grains of rice to say that today we'll eat 5 rices, because there's no food. But they want to talk about a guy who's fighting for his country. Even him, Ibrahim Traore, as we're talking, is going through difficulties with some of the decisions that he's made. You look at Burkina Faso as a country and all of these things that they're talking about, right? Because one thing, it's very much, difficult, to talk about something that you're not in, right? For an example, social media is very dangerous in terms of how it portrays narratives. I can go buy a Lamborghini today, go to different 5 locations, wearing different attires, taking pictures and say I own it. Every single day I'll be posting it. You'll say, wow, that guy has a Lamborghini. Now we have to look at actual facts and numbers to show if Burkina Faso, in the 3 years that he's been leading it, is it growing as a country? And it's quite eminent that it's not. You look at all of the indexes that actually show that a country is developing. You look at the IDI, right, which is the Infrastructure Development Index, nothing. Human Development Index, nothing, right? IPI, right, Industrial Product Development Index, nothing. It's not growing. When you come on TikTok, These Pan-Africanists, they will tell you about projections. They will tell you that it's projected that Burkina Faso in the upcoming 5 years will be a big economy. Rubbish. We've seen it millions of times. In 2014, South Africa was projected to grow our economy by 6%. What happened? It started growing by 1%, so by 2% the following year. And ever since then, we've been stagnant, and our economy has been growing by sometimes 0.5%, 1%, because projections are just probabilities. You do not put into account different effects that might affect the economy. What if we wake up today and we are fighting, or we're in a dispute with one of our biggest trading partner? What if, for instance, our our minerals, right, in terms of the minerals in South Africa sector, right, the mining, right, sector, it has been decreasing. When that projection was made, we were at 14 point something, right? That's how much percentage the mining sector was contributing to the economy. Today it's about 8%. So, which means that through a lot of things that have been happening in the country in terms of, these, companies that have been mining here, in terms of, mine shafts having to, to deplete. Now they can't mine further because it will be dangerous. Because you have to put into account that minerals end in a country, and all of these things happened. You have economic dispute in terms of geopolitics in the world. Those are just projections. It doesn't mean that Burkina Faso will be that economy. Those are just probabilities, but they don't want to listen because they're looking for a messiah. They're waiting for somebody to come rescue them because they're losers. They can't face their own presidents. Your leaders are the ones, they will talk about Muzungu. It's the same thing daily. Muzungu, there's Muzungu that who is letting that Muzungu in? You have already nationalized your minerals in Congo, in Zambia, in Tanzania. You have it. It's not in the hands of Muzungus. Then why is it that you're still suffering? South Africa, we're not a nationalized country. Nothing is in the hands of the government. Right? But we're doing far better than Congo and Zambia and so on, because the leaders are the ones who are actually letting those people invade your country and come take the minerals. Why don't you fight your own presidents and leaders under him? You can't do that. You come here and tell us that Burkina Faso is a country, different countries. You'll still wake up and your president will still be Museveni or whoever, or Tinubu, who's pledging your country right into economic dispute. I mean, look at all of these countries, man. Most of them, they own their minerals. You look at Nigeria, in terms of the crude oil sector, their government is in control, total control of it. You look at other countries that I've mentioned, all of them. But the truth of the matter that people want to ignore is that it's their leaders. They're afraid of their leaders because they are pathetic.
No,
And as for
Nechi,
let me land,
please
host. I just want to
summarize.
land, host. Yeah, I want to land, host. Don't worry, I'm landing. I just want to answer in terms of what you said, in terms of the Burkina Faso people saying that they don't want other people in their country. I mean, it's everybody is born somewhere. It's about that the borders were not there. If Africa really wanted to remove borders, they could have done it before South Africa actually got independent, because they got independent before us. They didn't do it because they like the fact that they're different countries. If those people don't want us there, it's not xenophobia. They fought for their country and they're eating the fruit. And there's nothing wrong with being selfish if you fought for something. Nobody is fighting for Burkina Faso. They are fighting for themselves. So therefore, they have every right to say that we do not want you. You must also be a person who fights for their own country. Fight for yourself, man, and stop being losers.
No problem, no problem. Thanks, man. Thanks, man.